Hey, this is about O'Shea, the confusing grifter. So this is a guy, one day he'll say Pan-Africanism is dead and he'll make videos talking shit about Pan-Africans. Uh, he'll state he's not a Pan-African one day, then the next day he'll say he is. Well, when he's talking to his FBA crowd, he'll be anti-Pan-African, he's not Pan-African. He'll do live streams yelling, getting drunk and yelling about how he's not a Pan-African and all that kind of shit. But then here he's got a Pan-African dating show. He'll hop on Pan-African panels and then he'll state that he's Pan-African and he's one of the most Pan-African people because he's on the continent of Africa giving African people jobs. So it's just really confusing. He'll say one thing to his FBA crowd because I'm assuming that he thinks that they won't bother with the Pan-African stuff to see what he's really doing. And he's just such a contradictory character. So this is a guy, his whole thing is he's FBA, he's not happy with Africans being in America. He'll make thousands of videos complaining, whining, all while he's an American living in Africa. This is a guy, he's FBA, he loves black people, but he won't live around his own type of black people, the FBA people who he claims to be part of now. So he'll be around everyone but actual FBAs. This is a guy, he claims to love black people, but here's the thing, why won't he date black American women? Is FBA women, as he calls them. It's very odd, isn't it? Because from years ago, before he got on this whole FBA thing, he was making videos back then just talking shit about black American women. So the only thing he stayed consistent is the fact that he refuses to date, as they call themselves, some of them, FBA women. So he'll talk all this shit about Africans. So he seems that it's African men he doesn't like, but he loves African women because he can buy them cheaply over there in Uganda and Kenya in East Africa because they're cheap to buy, and they will actually sleep with someone that looks like him. So perhaps these FBA women, they're a lot more choosy, and he needs more money. He can't afford someone that looks like him. Let's just be honest, can't afford to be sleeping with the average westernized woman that expects a bit more. So he knows that his money will run way further out there in East Africa than it would in America. But here's the thing, I remember years ago when he was trying to get his medical degree, he hated Nigerian men because he said that they were sleeping with all the Polish women out there, and his anger was directed at the Nigerian men. He even went as far, stuck with me, he said that he didn't understand why Polish men were not being more strict and actually physically assaulting the Nigerian men for taking their women. And I thought to myself, this guy is a hater. And looking at his life story so far, I can see the reason he was hating on those men is because they could sleep with women that O'Shea would have wanted to sleep with, but they didn't have to pay to have sex with these women. O'Shea couldn't get any women in America, he couldn't get any women in Poland, and he's only just started getting women in East Africa, and he had to work very hard. So all the YouTube, he had to save all his money just so that he can have sex with some women. And here's the funny thing, the reason O'Shea, he's always talking this anti-white stuff, like pretended and he's against white supremacy, all that crap. Did you know that the only reason he's even in East Africa is because there was a white YouTuber called, what was his name? Something Panda. You'll see him around, he still makes videos. He was the one, it was a white guy that told O'Shea to go to East Africa. He's the one that helped O'Shea get there. And now that O'Shea's there, the confused weirdo, he's anti-Pan-African whilst having Pan-African dating shows. He'll be anti-Pan-African when he's making red meat for his FBA weird crowd, but then he's the most Pan-African guy, and he'll brag about how Pan-African he is when he's on Pan-African channels and he's trying to get clout. This guy has no shame, okay? He doesn't like black American women, but he's pretending all this pro-black FBA nonsense whilst he's not making any money. He's not giving any jobs to anyone that's FBA. All he's doing is he's making videos which he thinks that they will enjoy, so that he can get AdSense money for himself. All whilst he's in Africa, as he says, and he's given Africans jobs and he's spreading his wealth amongst Africans. So it's very confusing. He's a hypocrite. He's just full of shit. He's got no pride as a man. We all saw what Tariq Nasheed did to him. And here's the thing about someone like Oshay, which is quite sad. When FBA are not happy with him, the first thing they say is that he's not FBA and he doesn't even look FBA. And you know what's the funniest thing about Oshay? Is, you know, these thumbnails that Tariq will make, these horrible looking thumbnails, these caricatures where he'll do exaggerated features of the worst type of African person he can think of. They all look like Oshay, but skinny versions. And this is why Oshay has to suck Tariq off so bad in FBA, because he wants to be part of that clique so badly that they feel he doesn't look like one of them. And let's just be honest, he does look kind of odd. Let's just say this, you know, when I see him on the Kenganda channel, when he used to sit on the couch with everyone from Africa, he looked like the most African person that you can. On that couch, he was always the darkest person there with the widest nose. Okay, he looked like he actually belonged in Uganda, in all honesty. And he wants to be part of the FBA clique, so he has to go extra hard. No one else has to make videos, anti-African videos, as much as he does, because all these other FBAs, they're lighter skinned than him and they have more European features. So even you can get a mixed race person from Germany, as long as they've got an American accent, they could just pretend to be FBA and they'll be accepted as being FBA. But not Oshay. Oshay doesn't look like what FBA want people to think they all look like. That's the funniest thing. So he has to go over the top to try and prove his worth, but they still see him as worthless. In fact, he reminds me of Godfrey. I'll get onto him soon in one of my next videos. Godfrey's another one of these clowns where he's always trying to suck up to these FBA people. He'll go overboard. He wants to give everyone the list of, oh, black Americans did this, black Americans did that. He wants to show off his history and his knowledge. But as soon as he says something, has his own opinion, which isn't even that offensive, they'll nitpick and then they'll find a way to say, you tether. Because apparently that word's meant to be hurting feelings, but it seems to hurt Godfrey's feelings, and that's why Godfrey and Oshay are quite similar. They'll do all that ass kissing, but as soon as they step a foot wrong, they're no longer part of the so-called invited to the stupid cookout, the cookout from worthless people. Anyway, I'll be back. Bye.